County. Michael Zehr here. Haven't been with you guys the last couple of weeks because I was on family vacation and the Disabled American Veterans Conference. So I'm glad to be back and online here with you guys today. And today I have a special group of ladies, all women veteran, all right here in Cochise County. I will introduce them, and as I introduce them, if you could like raise your hand or something like that, that would be cool. Also, on the live stream, real quick, I keep forgetting this. On the live stream, if you're watching, if you have any questions or comments for them, post them. I can see them, and I will pass them on to them. So I encourage that, please. Okay, so as I introduce you, if you could raise your hand. First, we have Lenice Moore, and then we have Mo Pryor, and then we have Jeanette Davis. Okay, so starting with Jeanette, she's back here behind me, so I'll just ask the question to the camera. Jeanette, where did you enlist from?
I grew up in Lansing, Michigan, and I enlisted in January of 1971.
Okay, and where was your basic training at?
At Fort McClellan, Alabama.
Alabama.
And there are comments on Facebook from other ladies. That is the first time I was on an airplane taking off into I don't know what, had no idea what I was expecting. So it was a big new world back then.
All right. And then what did you do for AIT? What did you go for after that?
I had big ideas, and after doing the testing at Fort McClellan, I was sent to Clerical Training Company, which was right there at Fort McClellan.
Oh, so you didn't have to go anywhere.
That's right. I spent nearly 6 months right there at Fort McClellan.
All right. All right. And Lenice, how about you? Where did you enlist from?
I enlisted from Chicago, Illinois in 1975.
Oh.
I went to basic training at Fort McClellan, Alabama, and AIT at Fort Ben Harrison, Indiana.
Oh.
Personnel management.
I lived in Chicago for quite a long time.
Oh, really?
Born in Peoria, big Cubs fan and Bears
yes.
fan. So, okay, thank you for sharing that. And then Mo Pryor, right here. Mo, where did you enlist from?
I came in the service from Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota.
Minnesota, okay.
It was the closest place to my home in Wisconsin.
And you also went to Fort McClellan for AIT then, I'm guessing?
Well, basic.
Basic, I mean, sorry.
To Fort McClellan, yes.
Okay.
And then I actually came out here to Fort Huachuca for my follow-on training.
Oh, what was your MOS?
I was...
Uh-oh, I got you on.
Yeah, you sure did.
Well, it's all been renumbered, hasn't it?
Well, that's true, too, but by the same token, I was a tactical intelligence officer.
Oh, okay, so MI.
Yes, MI. So I came out here for training and then went to Fort Hood.
What year was that?
1974.
That you came out here, okay.
January of 1974.
Because I know Fort Devens, right? That was also MI, but they didn't move out here until later.
Not till later,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. They were the Army Security Agency at that time.
Oh. And then Jeanette, how about any tours of duty for yourself? What was your first duty station?
From McClellan, I was sent here to Fort Huachuca, and I got here at Fort Huachuca in June of 1971. I was married in 73, and we were transferred to Fort Wainwright, Alaska.
Oh, Alaska, huh? Yeah.
So all of these people tell wonderful stories about all the wonderful places they've seen. I was sent to Alabama, Arizona, Alaska. When we left Fort Wainwright, we came right back here because of my husband's MOS. So back to Arizona. And then they sent him back to the same unit in Alaska after I got out. And then they sent us to White Sands Missile Range. And then we went back to Alabama.
Oh, you were in
New
New Mexico.
So in all of my military time, I never got to see all the beautiful stuff people talk about overseas.
So you went from the heat to the freezing cold, back to the nice warm heat again, huh?
I did, but having grown up in Michigan, I loved all my time up in Alaska. We were in Fairbanks, and it was a lot like Tucson because there's not very much humidity. So the snow doesn't stick to you, and in the summertime you don't feel the humidity, and Fairbanks is very nice.
Wow. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. That's pretty cool. Lenise, how about yourself? Where were your permanent duty stations at?
Well, after graduating from my personnel management school, I stayed an extra 6 months at Fort Bend Harrison as a personnel management assistant. I helped the instructors with their programs and stuff like that. And after that, I was sent to Fort Riley, Kansas, where I met my husband,
Oh,
and we were married for 32 years there.
oh, that's great. And what it when you met at where did you say Fort Riley?
Yes, Fort Riley, Kansas.
I'm guessing he was also in the military.
Yes, he was. He
Uh,
was in for 20 years.
okay, awesome.
A Signal Corps.
Signal,
Yes.
and never got stationed here, huh? Because they have a lot of signal
Oh
units
yes.
here. Oh, he did.
He was.
Yeah,
He
okay.
went through his AIT here,
All right.
and he stayed here at the AIT. He went to Vietnam, and he spent 1 year in Vietnam because he
Okay.
joined the army right out of the high school there.
Wow, that's fascinating. Okay, Mo, how about yourself? What were your tour of duty?
Well, I went to Fort Hood after my training here at Fort Huachuca.
Okay.
And then, in the wisdom of the Army, they sent me to recruiting duty in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Oh, you were a recruiter.
I was a
How
recruiter.
cool.
And it was just when the academies were opening up to women. So I was one of the first to recruit women into those classes. But from there, I came back here for some more training, and then went to Europe for 5 years and came back to Fort Huachuca,
Okay.
and eventually ended up at Goodfellow Air Force Base in Texas, where we had language training, and the Army and all the services came together there for that. And from there is where I got out of the Army and finally retired. Well, not retired, ended up in reserve duty in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Jeanette, how many years did you serve?
When I was active duty, once you got pregnant, you got out.
Right.
So I was pregnant in 77, and my first was born in 78. And so I went to Cochise College. And then when my husband was transferred, I picked up some more credits using my GI Bill at the University of Alaska in Fairbanks.
Wow.
And then I came back down here, and at White Sands it was a little more challenging. I picked up a couple of classes at New Mexico State University, and then I finished my degree at Athens State College in Athens, Alabama.
And what was your degree in?
Bachelor of Science in Elementary Education.
Okay. And then you became a school teacher, if I remember correctly, right?
That's correct.
Of your many jobs. Yeah. Because that was one of the things that we were talking about offline. One of the ways that the military has changed for women, and there have been a lot of good changes, I believe, but one of them was what Jeanette was talking about, is when a woman was about to have a baby, so now that they let them stay in, so I think that's really, really a good thing. So
There are pros and cons. When they started, I want to say Desert Storm, but I'm not sure my dates.
mhm.
There were stories about couples where husband and wife were both active duty. He was deployed here, she was deployed there, and they left kids in military housing unaccompanied. And it's like, who in their right mind? But there's documentation that it happened.
Oh, wow.
So now you have to go through the process that the commanders have to know that you have paperwork on file so that when you're deployed, somebody takes care of the kids.
So these are all good changes that they've done over the years, though, for
But
women.
there are stories that
For
it really
families,
happened.
Well, I guess the point I was trying to make, though, is that if you love your country and you want to serve, just because you have a child doesn't mean that you should not be able to
Absolutely.
still, fulfill your desire of wanting to do, what's in your heart.
Well, that is true because I had a child while I was in the military, and the laws had changed a little bit then. If you had a child, you could stay in. And my son was born in 1979, so we stayed in, and the three of us traveled together.
Right. Now, I'm just kind of interested myself because your husband was also active duty. Did you have, and I can't remember the term, was it joint domicile or I
Yes,
forget what it was called.
yes, we were very fortunate. We had joint domicile during our entire career.
Oh, really?
Yes, we did.
Wow.
There are a lot of couples that are separated, and we had concurrent travel most of the time, so we were blessed. But I've heard so many stories about husband being sent this direction and wife being sent that direction because they had different military commitments, and it was really challenging for their relationship.
Wow. Mo, what do you think some of the good changes that have happened over the years for women in the military?
I think just going back to actually integrating men and women's training together has been a positive. I think the fact that now women can progress beyond just the level of 06 or full colonel. We now have general officers that we weren't getting initially at one time.
Really?
And there was a strength level of women in the military that we had to maintain, and you couldn't rise above that. So they really worked very hard to keep the numbers down. Now that's expanded considerably.
Right.
So I think those are positive changes, and allowing women to actually fulfill, as you pointed out, their heart's desires if they're qualified and capable, I think is a very good thing as well.
And, people that love their job, they don't do that job for the money.
Right.
I mean, it's not for the pay that they do
Teachers
that
sure
for.
don't teach for the paycheck.
No.
Don't do any of it for that. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about why you, Lenny, sorry, why did you stay in Cochise County? What about this area that?
Well, I first came to this area in January of 1984, and we kind of liked it, and we started buying a house. And then after that, in 1986, I was selected as one of the first AIT drill sergeants. That's when they first started the program in 1986.
Oh, you were a drill sergeant, huh?
Yes, I
So
was.
we got a recruiter here, and we have a drill sergeant. How about that?
Yes, for 2 years and 3 days there.
Uh-huh.
And I was fortunately, they sent me to Fort Bend Harrison. That's where I did my AIT at. And so I stayed there for 2 years, and my husband and I was temporarily separated. But he decided to retire in 88.
Okay.
And after 88, because they was planning on sending him to Germany, so we was afraid we wouldn't be able to get a joint domicile.
Right.
So he retired because he had done his 20. And after that, we kind of traveled together. And from then on, and then after I finished my drill sergeant status in 88, I was fortunately enough, Uncle Sam sent me to Belgium, NATO headquarters for 3 years, and that was a wonderful assignment there. And after we finished the 3 years in Belgium, I had my house still here. So fortunately, the renters was getting ready to, their contract was up, so we moved right back in the house we had left.
Great.
And I have been here ever since. And I retired in 1997.
It's a great area. I love it here.
Yes.
And I'd like to ask both of you this because I personally don't know. When you become a drill sergeant or a recruiter, do you have to have some training? I mean, the Army, you're both Army, I'm guessing, right?
Yes,
and
we
Jeanette,
are.
you're Army also. I forgot to ask that. I'm guessing the Army just isn't going to say, okay, you're a drill sergeant and bam, you're a drill sergeant, right? You have to have some training, which is what we're talking about, right?
Yes, myself. I went through 11 weeks training at Fort Sill, Oklahoma to become a drill sergeant. And in my class, there was only 2 females and about 19 males.
Wow.
Yes.
And what about for recruiting duty?
That was a little bit different.
Okay.
Because in reality, while I was a women's Army Corps recruiter, there was no actual recruiting per se. I worked in an office doing a lot of administrative work. I spoke at a lot of high schools. I spoke at a lot of colleges and junior colleges about my experience and about what the Women's Army Corps had to offer. And then, of course, it opened it up to what the Army had to offer. So There wasn't as much training there as what you go through for like
Okay.
drill sergeant school.
Wow. And you probably said this and I missed it, but do they just come to you and say, we want, no, not, I'm sorry, it's not we want you. They just come and they say, you're going to be a recruiter, period. I mean, you don't have really a choice.
We have this wonderful assignment for you, is how they typically
Wonderful
put it.
assignment.
And you say, well, where is that?
Same for you, Lenise?
What happened with me was since in 1986 they started the AIT drill sergeant program, so I got a letter from the Department of the Army
Okay.
saying you have been selected to become a drill sergeant, and
Wow.
there was no, you can't do it.
Yeah,
You
there's
either
no
did it
reason.
or get out of the Army.
And Jeanette, how many years did you serve on active duty? And did you do any reserve duty after that? Did they allow reserve duty?
I was typing orders over here on Fort Huachuca, and I would send out, if men only did a 2-year tour, then they still had to do several years of reserve duty.
Correct.
But women did not have that requirement.
Oh, really?
No.
I had done my 6 years so that I didn't end up with any reserve time. I went straight over to Cochise College to work on my degree.
Okay.
There's another bit of trivia there in that when I reenlisted, that extended because I would have gotten out in January, but I reenlisted in August for the next 4 years because when my husband was transferred to Fort Wainwright, there wasn't a place for me at that point. So a friend in the personnel section got in touch with, and he arranged for me to get a position up at Fort Wainwright, and he's the one that arranged the concurrent travel, and boy, we got lucky. So
Wow.
in just shortly after the wedding, we both went up to Wainwright, and then like I said, because of his MOS, we came right back here. So
Great honeymoon, huh?
it was. We went the Alaska Marine Highway. Are you familiar with the ferry boats that go
I am
from
not, no.
Seattle up to Anchorage?
Oh, in Seattle, yeah.
They
But
leave
not up to
Seattle,
Anchorage, no,
and
okay.
they go up through the inside passage. And we got off in Haines. We took our car with us on the boat
Right.
and got off in Haines and drove from Haines up to Fairbanks. So it was a big adventure. It was quite the honeymoon, yes.
And was it, how was it to adjust to like the time? Because I've not been there, so I hear like, the 12 hours of darkness type of stories.
Oh, yes. If you go out to party a little bit at night and you come out at 2 in the morning and you're thinking, wait a minute, it's still daylight out here. And those who have been there, yes, it's amusing to adjust to it.
Wow, cool. Lenise, how many years did you serve? I might have asked this, so if I did, forgive me.
No, you didn't.
Okay.
But I served 22 years and 13 days.
22 years. Wow, that's awesome. And what rank were you when you got out?
I retired as a sergeant first class E7.
Wow, that's great. How about you, Mo? How many years did you serve and
I
your rank?
served 13 years active
Okay.
and 13 years reserve.
Okay.
So it's 26 years and 11 days.
And your rank when you got out?
Lieutenant Colonel.
Lieutenant Colonel. Wow.
My rank no longer exists. I
Well-
was a Specialist 5.
Oh, they don't have Spec 5 anymore?
They don't have Spec
No,
5
no.
anymore.
Oh, wow.
They converted that to sergeant.
Yeah, they made him sergeant.
Really? Okay.
So my rank, women's rank at that time was just a bit smaller. So now that's a piece of history, Nobody else has
Right. They still have specialists, though, E4? Right?
Yeah,
Or
Yeah,
no?
through E4, yes.
Okay, just E4, though, right? They don't have the E5 and E6 like they used to
No,
have.
not like they used to.
Oh, wow, that's kind of interesting. I didn't know that. So what, because I started with Lenise, so now it's your turn. What did you like about Cochise County, and why did you decide to stay in this area?
Actually, I moved back here. I finished out my military career and my civilian career in D.C., and that's a very busy place. So I checked around, and unfortunately, when I tried Florida, there was a hurricane. So I chose to come out here where I had a community of friends. Actually, there's 4 of us who went in the service at the same time. who all live right here in Sierra
You
Vista.
want to give them a shout out? Say hi.
Judy. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Jenny.
There you go.
So it was rather easy to fall into this community here.
Okay.
Plus, as has been mentioned by Jeanette, the weather's terrific. You can't beat it. I was very tired of shoveling snow in DC, and the humidity just was miserable. So this was kind of the nicest of all the places, and it was a little smaller than Tucson, so I like that idea.
And Jeanette, how long have you been in Cochise County now?
I got here in 71.
Right.
My husband retired in 89.
Mm-hmm.
We spent a year with my sister in Philadelphia. And then, like Lenise said, the house we owned here had been rented. And when the renters left, then we came back here. So I got back here in April of 90. And when I look back and I think, my gosh, has it been that long?
Well, when you were here in 71, I mean, culture shock now compared to 90.
We were Four Corners. They talk about everything ended right there where Jack in the Box is.
Right.
And it was just, when you think back to those days and what's happened here.
Yeah.
And then, I was at Fort Wainwright, and there was somebody transferred down here who was at my church.
Okay.
And she was telling me about the changes at Fort Wainwright. I was assigned to the hospital there. In the administrative portion, I was like the colonel's assistant up there in admin.
Okay.
She said they've torn down the hospital completely and replaced the whole building. So some of the things that we remember from when is completely, I had taken my kids to the theater over here at Fort Huachuca.
Okay.
And we were waiting in line for tickets, and maybe it was 94. And one of the girls looks over and says, "Mom, they're tearing down your barracks building." And I used to live in the building that was directly across from Barnes Field House. And I looked over and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, there's history going away, because there were so many people that went through that building when I was living there when I was younger, before I was married. When I came back, it was part of electronic proving ground. So again, when I came back the second time, I was assigned to electronic proving ground, and I still reported to that same building for CQ duty, etc.
Wow.
And so to find them tearing the building down in the 90s, because it wasn't energy efficient at that point. So it's amazing to watch the changes that take place.
Well, I got here in 77, so that was after you got here, and I've heard stories about how Fry Boulevard used to be a dirt road when you got from 7th Street on down. It was like nothing but dirt, even to get to the high school. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So
remember that the high school used to be where Valero sits right now.
Correct. Yeah.
Right.
So
Exactly.
other people don't remember that because they've
depending on when they got here. Yeah. So how about some of the community activities that you're involved with? I wanted to get into your organization
brochure,
here because this is very interesting organization, and I would like for you to talk about it, if you would, please.
Sure. We're a chapter here in Cochise County, the San Pedro chapter of the Women's Army Corps Veterans Association, Army Women United, a very long title.
Very long.
But
distinguished.
Oh, very.
Very okay.
Distinguished. Yes, by many things. But we meet once a month, typically September through June, and we do try to support veterans here in our community. We do that in a variety of ways. In the past, last year was an anomaly for everybody. We have supported the DAV Christmas project, not only with money, but also with toiletry bags. We have supported other community outreach like Salvation Army, Good Neighbor Alliance, St. Mary's Mission with those toiletry bags and Easter eggs.
Okay.
We've done a lot for taking books and magazines up to the VA Center. That's a lot courtesy of Lanice over here when she runs up there. She's always willing to take boxes of books for that. But last year, of course, things have kind of tapered off a little bit. We also have done for a lot of women, and not necessarily just members of our chapter, but if we find out that a woman veteran has passed away, we will go and do a final salute, either at the cemetery if the family permits, or at the church service if the family permits, just to acknowledge the time and attention that woman provided this country.
Now, where is it that you meet? Do you meet here at the Warrior Healing Center, or?
We have been, again, until this last year when things kind of shut down, and then we've done it via Zoom, which has been a great technology enhancer and tool for us to be able to use, because we do have women who are out of the area, some as far north as Bremerton, Washington, and some over in the Phoenix area. So it's allowed us all to kind of stay together that way. But we typically meet one Saturday a month.
Okay.
And second Saturday.
It's the second Saturday.
Second Saturday of the month.
Saturday of the month.
Yes. And we have several activities, social activities that we do. We have a Christmas party, and unfortunately we still call it Christmas party. And we also have our annual WAC anniversary luncheon on the second Saturday of May. And there we acknowledge the ROTC, junior ROTC cadet who has qualified and won our scholarship, as well as just having guest speakers and having some time for social interaction.
So, if we have any women veterans that are watching this, you take membership, they want to join, how would they contact you? Or
we do have a website or an email account. I shouldn't say website.
All right.
Although, Jeanette, you can give them the Facebook page as well. But we have an email address. It's WACVA, so that's WACVA AZ095 @gmail.com.
Okay.
Or they can contact, and I only have your number. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Jeanette's number is 520-236-4391. And she's been working very hard on membership and bringing people into this organization for many years and done an outstanding job with that.
Is there a cost for membership or donations? How does that work?
There is a cost.
Okay.
We have to provide national monies every year for our dues. So we charge right now $40. $5 stays here with the chapter, and the $35 goes up to national.
We have a Facebook site for national, and we have a website and a webmaster, and the information at that website, the way to get to it is www.armywomen.org, and it's all lowercase. And the lady who is the webmaster has shared some stories with us about people who have contacted her where their aunt has some items to donate, or their mother did this or that. And they are very fascinating stories about women who served. The other thing I'd like to share is we have several associate members that meet with us regularly. We have 2 Navy ladies, and we have 2 Air Force ladies that regularly attend our meetings so that they can enjoy the fellowship with other females.
So if I wanted to find you on Facebook, and I went out on my Facebook page, that search engine, what would I type in up there to search to find your group again?
Does the flyer have a Facebook address? Because honestly, I have difficulty with it. I was able to create it.
Is that the one you're talking about?
Yes. This is what they tell me gets to it.
Which is where again?
I'm still learning about all the Facebook stuff.
Facebook.
Right there.
Okay, so if you're
learning about all
on Facebook, if you'd like to find more about the group here, just have to search San Pedro Chapter 95 Women's Army Corps Veterans Association, and that will get you right to their page.
Right.
And Jeanette, what were you telling me about this being Congress sanctioned, or you were saying
We were chartered by Congress originally
okay?
back in
Correct.
the early 50s. We have one
I
of
want
the
to say, it says in there where was it 1942 when the Chicago chapter started, Lenny?
Yes, the Chicago chapter started in 1942 by female veterans, mothers.
mothers of veterans.
Mothers.
Really,
of,
mothers.
Right.
Okay.
Mothers
Mothers,
of
yeah.
And in 1942, we was actually called Women's Army Auxiliary Corps.
Right,
But the following year, they changed it to Women's Army Corps.
right.
Wow.
That has been our name ever since 1943.
But we couldn't change the Women's Army Corps portion. For example, my husband is part of the Vietnam Veterans Association, and when the Vietnam War ended, then you're not going to have any more guys eligible for that group. The situation here is by adding the portion that says Army Women United, then we can continue to add women to our membership, and we actually have some active duty members in our group.
That's great. I'm glad to hear that because I'm involved in a few activities myself, and I notice we need to get younger people in the groups and get them
Absolutely.
active and get
Yes.
them participating, and that's so hard. And I got to be I'm guilty. When I was younger, I was so busy, you know, raising my family and
Exactly,
working,
yes.
and it's like I didn't have time. And then now I'm at that stage of my life where it's like, well, what can I do to help you guys, you know? So
Here's another bit of trivia. Things have come full circle. When we were active duty, we enjoyed the female fellowship and knowing that there was somebody else who had been through what we've been through.
right,
Then we went through the phase when we had the academy appointments, and the woman had to be just as important as a man, and she had to perform like a man, and she had to stand strong out there by herself, and I can do it without these other women. And now we've come full circle where some of those women are realizing having other women that understand what we've been through is sometimes different than talking to the guys. That we can get out there and perform our military duty, but having another female to share it with is
Right.
important. And some of them are coming full circle to realize that.
I don't know if any of you know Trish Thompson, but she's a
Absolutely, yeah.
chapter service officer and our adjutant at the Disabled American Veterans.
She's
And
also
she
our
has some
second
fascinating stories that she was a pilot, you know, I mean, she flew helicopters, and just amazing to sit down and talk with her and to hear her stories. And that wasn't possible, you know, back in the 60s and stuff like that.
She's a member of our chapter,
Oh, is she?
and she was
Okay.
just elected as our second vice.
Oh, good. Hi, Trish, if you're watching anyway. So, what can people that are watching this here in Cochise County, what can we do to help assist you with any kind of fundraising or donations or anything like that? Do you guys?
Yes, we do fundraisers. We do at least 2 fundraisers a year for the help with our scholarships funding there. And we normally do car washes most of the time at Arby's. And then we also do pancake breakfast at the Landmark Cafe.
Oh, I love pancakes.
And our next reserve with Pam is on September 25th.
Right. We have a
What is that now on September 25th?
Pancake fundraiser with Pam at the Landmark.
Okay, at what time?
7 to 11 in the morning.
7 to 11. So,
All you can eat.
all you can eat too, huh?
Yes.
Oh, I hope my wife's not watching this. So, ladies, I can't thank you enough for joining me this morning. I appreciate your time. I appreciate the service to our country. I appreciate your service to our community here and everything that you've done. And thank you for coming in. And I salute you all. I do. I mean,
You're more than welcome.
this is the part of the interview where it just kind of gets me right here, because when I'm doing these interviews, I just love hearing these veteran stories, and I just love hearing about all the involvement within the community and your stories, and I just can't thank you all enough for sharing. Really, I appreciate it,
You're so very welcome, sir.
and God bless you all.
You as well.
I have a few announcements here, if you can bear with me. This is why I had to go home and get my reading glasses. I had to do the announcements here real quick. And Okay, on Friday, which is tomorrow.
Nope, today's
Today's
Friday.
Friday.
Oh, today's Friday. Oh my gosh, bonehead moment. Hopefully I didn't, oh, real quick. Hopefully I didn't do too many ums because I put out word that for every I did, I was going to donate some money to the Warrior Healing Center. So I'll have to watch this again and see if I have to owe them any money. So today at 1600 hours to 1800 hours, we have the Gratitude Drum Circle right here at the Warrior Healing Center. Also, and I will be attending this, so hopefully some of you will be here also to attend it. It is from 1600 to 1800. It's at the Benson Food Pantry. And it's a cooking class for veterans. I'm very interested because I want to see what all, I don't know how to cook, and when I do know how to cook is very limited, so I think it would be a good thing for us to learn. And from what I understand, they will take like what you get for food boxes, and they will teach you, because people get that and they're like, I don't know how to make anything out of this stuff. That's what this class is supposed to be about, to teach you what you can make out of that. I just did so there's some money I owe. On Saturday, which is tomorrow, at 07:30, there's going to be a VVSV group ride. They are going to meet at Pueblo del Sol Country Club parking lot. Also on Saturday, at 1700 hours, there's going to be a young AA potluck meeting right here at the Warrior Healing Center, and it will be in the recreation room. On Monday, June 21st, from 0900 to 1100 hours, I'm sorry, 0900 to 1000 hours, is the Marine Corps League breakfast, and that will also be at the Landmark. Marines will meet for coffee and tell old war stories. If you'd like some information on the Marine Corps League breakfast, call 520-456-5720. On Monday, the 21st, from 1730 to 1830, is the 5 Treasures of Qigong. And I can't thank Kathy enough. I don't know if you can see it or not, but she wrote out Qigong because I don't know how to pronounce that word. So thank you, Kathy, for doing that. You're awesome. On Tuesday, starting at 0900 to 1200, and then again at 1300 to 1600 hours, is the Healing with Art Summertime Staycation. You can stay cool and create art. Space is limited and pre-registration is required. Please call 520-378-1176 if you would like to register for that. Again, that's 520-378-1176. And lastly, on Thursday, June 24th, starting at 1830, going to 1930, is the Headspace and Timing PTSD Support Group. It's here at the Warrior Healing Center at the main conference room. And that is the announcements that I have for now. Next week, Rick Hackney is supposed to be joining me from Sahara, so he will be my next interview. Again, I thank you all so much for joining us this morning here at the Rising Eagle Studios, Warrior Healing Center. I'm Michael Zehr. Thank you for joining us. Good day, everybody.